Welcome to today's explainer. I want you to think about something for a second. You probably spent, over a decade in school, and yet I'm willing to bet not a single class sat you down and said, hey, here's how money actually works. It's incredibly frustrating, isn't it? Look, you're not broke because you don't make enough money, and you're certainly not struggling because you lack effort. You're simply operating without the right instructions. Well, today we're going to fix that. We are going to build an automated personal wealth machine, taking the exact blueprint used by the top 1% and handing it directly to you.
All right, here is our practical implementation guide for today. First, we'll look at the broken money cycle. Then we dive into Step 1, the spending order. Step 2 is the two-bucket system. Step 3 covers the asset expense filter. And finally, Step 4, the identity shift. Let's get right into it.
Now, before we actually start building the new system, we got to address the elephant in the room. Have you ever noticed this? You get a raise or maybe a better paying job, and you feel this brief moment of relief. And then, why does that extra cash mysteriously vanish within 6 months? You find yourself right back in the same scramble. I want to assure you right now, this is not a discipline problem, and it's not a lack of willpower. It is a fundamental flaw in the foundational blueprint of how you treat your income.
So let's start with the broken money cycle.
Okay, let's dive into this. The top 1%, they aren't naturally smarter than you. They just play by a completely different set of rules. Rules that were passed down at dinner tables most of us were never invited to. Take a look at the left side. That's the average earner's cycle. You earn your paycheck, you spend it on rent, groceries, bills, maybe a night out, and then you try to save whatever leftovers are floating around. But here's the harsh truth. Whatever comes last gets whatever is left, which is usually absolutely nothing. Now look at the right. The proactive cycle of the 1%. They earn it, automatically funnel savings into a vault, and then they spend what remains.
That brings us perfectly to Step 1, the spending order. This concept actually has a name, and you might have heard it, paying yourself first. It means automating a percentage of your income to literally vanish from your account the exact moment you get paid, before a single bill is due. Practically speaking, this means logging into your payroll portal or your banking app today and setting up a recurring transfer for the exact day your paycheck hits. Why is this specific automation so absolutely crucial? Well, human brains naturally calibrate to whatever cash is visible. If $4,000 hits your checking account, your brain registers that as your normal operating budget. But if $400 automatically disappears into an investment account first, your brain simply adjusts. You naturally figure out how to live comfortably on the remaining $3,600, and honestly, you won't even feel the difference.
Let's look at the math to prove this isn't just theory. Here we have two people, both making the exact same income of $60,000 a year. Person A is relying on willpower, trying to bravely save whatever is left at the end of the month. After 5 long years, they've maybe scraped together $8,000. Person B, on the other hand, treats money management as an engineering task. They just automate 10% out instantly. Because they never see it, they never miss it. No daily discipline required. In those same 5 years, with just basic investment growth, Person B is sitting on an incredible $35,000. It is night and day. Managing money isn't about willpower. Automation will drastically outpace discipline every single time.
All right, moving to the core of the blueprint, Step 2, the two-bucket system.
The reality is, most people only have one bucket. All their water flows into one container, gets used up for daily life, and drains right out. Here is exactly how you mechanically set up the 1% system today. Step 1, automate that 10% out instantly, like we just talked about. Step 2, open a separate dedicated account, maybe a high-yield savings account or a low-cost brokerage account. This is bucket 2. Route your 10% auto transfer directly here to buy index funds, real estate, or dividend-producing assets. Step 3, keep the remainder in your standard checking account. That right there is bucket 1. The crucial thing is understanding they're totally different jobs. Bucket 1 pays for your daily life. But bucket 2 pays you just for existing. It literally works while you sleep, completely shattering the ceiling of trading your time for money.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that staggering $294,000 figure. That is the sheer power of consistency over time. Listen, you do not need to be rich to start bucket 2. If you earn $5,000 a month and move just 10%, $500, into an index fund averaging an 8% annual return, and you just let it run, just let it sit there, in 20 years, you'll end up with roughly $294,000.
And here's the absolute secret sauce the wealthy know. In the final years of that timeline, the growth on your invested money actually starts to exceed what you're putting in each month. The machine grows faster than you can feed it. That brilliantly highlights why starting right now is so urgent. Even if your bucket 2 starts with just $50, you literally have to begin. Your most valuable asset isn't your paycheck, it is your time in the market. Every month you sit around waiting for the perfect time, that massive asset quietly drains away.
Okay, let's keep building. Step 3, the asset expense filter.
Before making any significant purchase, the top 1% do not ask, "Can I afford this?" Because if the cash is in your checking account, technically, yeah, you can afford it. Instead, they run it through the filter. Is this an asset, which puts money into my pocket, or is it an expense, which takes money out? Now, obviously, not everything can be an asset. You need a car to get to work, you aren't meant to live in a cave wearing a potato sack. But the wealthy always pause to ask if there's a version of a major purchase that can tilt toward being an asset.
And this brilliantly illustrates the concept in action. Look at these two housing choices. On the left, buying a massive house at the absolute edge of your budget in an area that doesn't appreciate well. Once you factor in interest, taxes, and a new roof, that house takes money out of your pocket every single month. It is a heavy expense. On the right, buying a duplex, living in one half and renting out the other. Now, the property is partially or fully paying for itself. It is an asset. It is the exact same life decision, buying a home, yielding two totally different financial destinies, entirely based on running it through the filter.
This filter is incredibly critical for protecting you against a silent killer. Lifestyle creep. The expenses that feel the absolute best in the moment are almost always the ones doing quiet damage behind the scenes. You get a raise, so you naturally upgrade the apartment, get a flashier car, sign up for a bunch of new subscriptions. Your monthly spending skyrockets, but your financial security doesn't budge. When the 1% get an income upgrade, they water the tree on the right. Sure, a controlled little portion goes to quality of life, but the vast majority goes straight into bucket 2, ensuring their wealth machine grows way faster than their lifestyle does.
Which brings us to our final foundational piece. Step 4, the identity shift. Knowing exactly what to do and actually consistently doing it, those two things are separated by identity. Goals are external, right? But identity is internal. Think about two people trying to drop a bad habit. The person on the left says, "I am trying to quit smoking." Every single day, every time an urge hits, it is an exhausting mental battle. It's a constant daily negotiation. The person on the right simply says, "I don't smoke." Boom. The identity is settled, there's no negotiation, the behavior just automatically follows the identity. That exact same psychology applies to your money. If you tell yourself, "Man, I'm bad with money, but I'm trying to be better," every skipped coffee or automated transfer is going to feel like a painful, miserable struggle. I am challenging you to adopt this exact internal monologue right now. I am someone who builds wealth. Not someday, not when you hit a certain salary. Right now, at whatever scale you are currently at. When building wealth becomes your core identity, paying yourself first and funding your two buckets stops being a battle. It just becomes what you do because it is who you are.
So let's tie this all together. The spending order tells you when to save. The two buckets tell you exactly where it mechanically needs to go. The filter gives your spending direction, and your new identity makes the whole thing stick. The people who have it all figured out didn't unlock some magic universe secret. They just started this exact practical system, made it automatic, and point-blank refused to stop. They let time do what time does best. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. You now have the full implementation blueprint right in your hands. Are you going to just be a spectator, or are you going to use it right now to build your very own wealth machine?